property owners within 200 feet anyways, by mail, let them know that zoning is gonna be considered to be changing. So they have an opportunity to come up here and express their.
I'm thinking that,
I'm not sure if as a type age interlock we can do it, but I will find out. I don't remember.
thinking that, if, the other properties are commercial, it might make it even more expensive. I mean,
More valuable.
I go to the guy that owns them.
Mhm.
So we made all three of them properties commercial.
Okay, I'll check into that.
You mean on either side of this property?
Especially on the other side, the two lots.
Well, there's the three houses there, like where the Upshaws and.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
They
before.
are.
That's
Before.
Yeah.
And then there's another section between the residential and then the.
That's
Yeah, that's
possibly a
church.
church. Okay.
Church.
No,
And a church could be on
Church is
residential or.
that's on the
Yes,
side.
church is to the south.
Yeah, and then his would be
His is
first,
to
then the
north.
church, and then
The other gentleman, and then the
Upshaw, Mendoza, and another one. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's another
Yeah, there's three
house, a
houses
single
there.
house,
Three
and then
houses
there's the Shaws and,
Probably the hunt, is it?
Well, it's a
I
big house.
remember 10 or so years ago, them coming in for the building permit, but I can't remember the name, sorry.
The sellers have accepted a intent to purchase the property contingent upon the zoning. We are right now in the contractual part, and I'm waiting for signatures and their acceptance of the contract, but it is all pending zoning. Just the last thing I want to do is be stuck with a piece of property, that I can't do anything with, except maybe run 2 cows on. So I'm trying to structure this so if I have, to know for sure that the zoning can be changed, then I can go forward with the property. If the zoning can't be changed, then the contract will be terminated. And then there will be no other intent for this property besides the one that I'm pushing for myself.
Well, I don't think they can tell you for sure. They can tell you if they'll go forward with the process, but until it's actually done.
Okay?
Did you need a request from the owner?
Yeah, we'll need a request from the owner, but I'm saying, they can give you an idea of whether they're willing to change it. It sounds like they are. But the actual for sure wouldn't happen until it's done.
Okay. So how would I go forward with this? I could get maybe representation from the owner and provide the council with a letter stating that we would like, both the seller and the purchaser would like to move forward with the zoning. And then we could actually get the steps of the zoning, and if the zoning does close and it does change, then we can go ahead and close on the property and move forward. And then have this contingent. If it does not pass, we can go through all the motions, we can go through the public hearings, we can go through send notifications to the neighbors. And if we fail at that, then we just.
Your contract is void.
Exactly. And that's what I'd like to see if we can get a permission.
Yeah, we do need a request from the property owner,
Okay.
so if you can get that.
Absolutely.
and we can start the process of public hearings and everything else.
Okay.
See.
And typically, how long does that take? When?
I would say it's gonna take a couple of months.
2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
So we could start with the January, by getting the letters out.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here, I have it, I don't know if there's, that there's, like we have to publish notice 15 days before the hearing, and before that, we have to send out, a notice to all the property owners within 200 feet. 3/4 we have to vote. If there's a number of them that protest it, then it's gonna take a little time, but I'll figure it all out
Okay.
as soon as this is done.
Okay. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take it.
You get the request and I'll start the process and sort of.
Okay. I can do that.
We're allowed
Take it.
commercial.
So,
No, let's just receive notification of intent from the actual property owner.
Okay, you have a motion on the floor. Motion for this meeting, to table it until we have the paperwork and everything in the process. Have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Glenn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. None of new business. Item D, consider and act upon a request for variance to zoning ordinance 96022. Amendment number 1, prohibiting pre-manufactured housing at 6720 Via Peña, 4.5 acre. Mr. Aaron Williams.
Mayor, representatives, council members, I'm Aaron Williams, U.S. Army retired colonel. I met a few months ago with the city administrator, Ms. Conway, regarding a project that I was contemplating. I had been working on at the time. And she appraised me of the fact that that project had to come to the attention of the council. As a result, I'm here. I prepared some information that you can look at. The reason being that I wanted to qualify what I'll say here, what you're looking at. I'm aware of the ordinance that pertain to this project, and I'm acutely aware of the intent. As a result, I would like you to consider both aspects of it. During my entire military career, I spent a lot of time at Fort Knox, and I'm painfully aware of the reasons why we have this prohibition, because those things spring up all around the place. They're very unsightly. As a result, I have taken into account that, and I've used a number of procedures in order to make it acceptable to the council and add to the elements of China Grove. As you might consider, the reason I came to China Grove was for the peace and tranquility, which I wasn't getting in San Antonio. And today marks the 369th day that I've been in China Grove. It's been a very pleasant experience for me. In contemplating this transaction, this operation, construction project, I moved into this trailer, and I happened to survive it for the last 369 days. It's been quite a horrendous project, really. So, with that in mind, I'd like for the council to take into consideration what I'm proposing and the intent. As soon as possible.
Mr.
Do
Williams?
you have any questions?
Mr. Williams, do you own the property?
Yes, I'm a fourth part of it.
4.5 acres?
Yes,
You own all of it?
four, yes.
Okay. And the siding on there, what would it be material made of?
Beg pardon?
The siding material of the home?
Oh, it's hard to claim, which I think is in keeping with the elements of the zoning.
And this is the, what you're proposing?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how many square feet it is?
It's about 2,000 square feet.
Who's gonna build this home for you?
They're covered.
Who is building this home for you?
Well, currently, I'm in negotiating with Titan Industries. And I noticed that a number of terms are used for this type of unit, modular home, pre-manufactured, also, so I like to say off-site construction. It's prepared, manufactured, and then,
They break it out to the
but
side.
it doesn't come on axles, and there's no axles. It's
Does
gonna
it have
be
a concrete slab to it, sir?
Yes, there will be a concrete slab, yes.
No pier and beam?
No what?
Pier and beam, this is all concrete slab for this home?
Yes.
And they go out and pour the slab for you?
No, I'll have to contract that, so.
Okay. Beautiful picture here.
When I started this project, that's the only one that I found that was suitable, because the initial project that I was going to attempt to put here in China Grove, due to exigent
When did you purchase this land, Mr. Williams?
Oh, about, well, it's still, it was about 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
I,
We have record of that, Susan, on file?
I'm not 3 years ago, and I'll check it out. Mr. Brigg owned it.
yes, he's not, so,
He's not sold it to you?
I'm
And it's been changed over at the court,
Not
all the
present.
records and stuff?
not yet.
Oh, not
Not
yet?
yet.
Uh-huh.
It will be prior to.
Yeah, we'd have to have that you're the owner of the land to begin with.
Yes, that'll be no problem.
Yeah, we have to see that first.
I was told that this was the initial phase that cut to the city council before a formal application.
I guess you were sent the ordinances on what is expected, the homes that are expected to be built in China. If you have the ordinance, where you
Yes.
supplied with that
Yes.
it needs to be an exterior that, a front that has stucco or brick or some type of
Yes,
masonry.
and that was the other, there, so I was hoping to change, because by doing that, it really changes the overall appearance. What I was attempting to get, would like to get is kind of rustic ranch house appearance.
Well, we have, and I guess we'd have to have something stating that this is party board? Party plank or whatever they call it.
Yeah, that's masonry, that's considered masonry.
Well, I know it is, but, I mean, this to me looks almost like it's really pretty. It looks like a cedar home, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, it has a real rustic look to it,
Yeah.
like you're wanting. So we have to make sure we have the credentials for that, correct? I don't know, I'm asking.
I think we gotta get by first, the prefabricated house, we gotta get by that first.
Yes, I think that's a main sticking point, because in going through the structure and all the materials that are used, the city, though, everything complies with the city ordinance.
These ordinances have been made for quite a while, and were made by a lot of different people than us, and the reason they made these was to keep our area from having these modular homes come in.
Understand?
And that's why it was made, and if we let one in and another will be over here, and so this ordinance is very special to us, to not let anything, you got to build it on site. And the people that elected us, they expect us to enforce these ordinances. So I think that's an ordinance that we can't get around.
I understand that, that's why I qualified the comments that I acutely understand the intent of the ordinance. And that if the facility, the structure was put together or prepared in a manner that complied with all of the city ordinances, with that one exception, make it favorable consideration.
Wait a minute, I make a comment? Mayor, I make a comment, please? When you say prefab, what they're gonna do is build the walls in a rafters someplace else. They're not gonna have it all sheetrock and everything else, and then he's gonna put the hardy planking outside. It's not like a mobile home, they pull it in there, take the wheels off, that's prefab. You know, he's talking about someone else builds a house someplace else and comes over and puts it together. So if he never even came to city council, we wouldn't know the difference. Because he could have built it, finished it off, and y'all would never know, it was built someplace else. He's being courteous enough to come here out of respect for the city to inform you all what his plans are.
I guess that's why I like the term manufactured off-site.
I would just like to tell the council that the ordinance that we have on mobile homes and pre-manufactured housing and what have you was invalid. That section of that ordinance was invalid by our prior attorney, as it violated state law, in that there would be a HUD home. It qualifies. You can't restrict a HUD home.
This isn't a HUD home that he's talking about.
I wish this gentleman would never use the name manufacturers, because it's giving everyone the wrong intention what this house is. A lot of these home builders, they build them, put them on trailers, the walls, ceiling, they bring them out there, they both nail them all together, and that's how she's rocking it and doing the work.
Okay.
It's not like coming in on a trailer, it's prefab.
They look like a real house.
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
Mr. Young?
It is a real house.
Yeah, it looks
Young?
Mayor, members of the council, I had the same dream as Mr. Aaron's had here many years ago, 23 years, to put my dream home here in the city of China Grove. I live down the street from him, and I built a beautiful all-brick home, taking very well good care of that property. Did not ask for any variances. I abided by the city of China Grove, and this is one of the reasons I moved to China Grove. I felt my property values could be maintained, and I felt the city of China Grove had good covenants that would protect the people of the city of China Grove. So I am opposed to any form of variance. After I built my home, my neighbors built a beautiful 2,400 square foot all brick home. I was the first one to build back in that subdivision. And then after they built their home, we have the Whites, Hernando and Yarra White. They built a beautiful 3,400 all brick, 3,400 square foot all brick home. Then we have Mr. Martinez and his wife. They built a beautiful 2,700 square foot, all abiding by the city of China Grove ordinances set in place. And now most recently, then we had my son built a beautiful home, all brick. And Randy and Steve Nunn now just completed their home on my street, which is a beautiful white rock. They did not request a variance to change any of our ordinances. My neighborhood is developing. I wouldn't have envisioned this 23 years ago, but now I see how beautiful it's become. So, I think any type of home that would deviate with just hardy panel on the front. I've seen homes like that. I would appreciate that the city council abide by the ordinance, the zoning ordinance requiring the rock, stone, or stucco, to the front of the property. And I'm against any, I guess the definition of a pre-manufactured home is up in the air here right now from what I can see, what that actually means. We do require also engineered foundations. Okay, so. And that is China Grove's solid Class 1 zone residential ordinance.
I have a comment too. The purpose, the way I understand it, of a variance is if there's a hardship. That gives people the opportunity for the variance if they have a hardship. That's why they're allowed.
Andrew?
Yeah,
Yes, my name's Andrew Dunn. I live on 3485 Aerial Lane. The fact of the matter, it is considered a manufactured home right now. That is what it is considered. Regardless of how it's built, it is considered a manufactured home. I did not move into China Grove 30 years ago wanting a manufactured home down the street from me. Would anyone want one in Triple Oaks? Would anyone want one in Tierra Bonita? Would any of you all want one on your streets? It would lower the property values in the city of China Grove, any of our neighborhoods, given the definition of what is coming in. I did not build my house, nor did anyone else in the city of China Grove, on the basis of a variance. And I am just going on record saying I'm completely against this variance, and I ask the council to oppose this variance.
Mr. Dunn, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there any restrictions on the properties?
Restrictions
Yeah. Any deed restrictions or anything?
as far as? We go by the city of China, go by the city of China Grove's building restrictions,
Okay.
which is what's in question. There is no homeowners association even in Triple Oaks, Gene. So.
I asked the ex-mayor a question. I asked him a
Are
question.
you asking? Yes.
Okay, Mayor, I would like to know why the ex-mayor, when he was on the city council, all my houses on our street are brick except for one. And all it has on is hardy plank. Because at that time, the 75% masonry question came up. Was hardy plank masonry? Well, legally, on the writing, it's 75% masonry product. But yet, you get a house, 4,000 square foot house built on my street with nothing but hardy plank. So why is that a question now? He can do it to my street, but we can't do it to his street? I don't understand that. It's not right. When he was the mayor, he let that go on. Hardy plank was okay in China Grove. 75% of the house has to be masonry.
The ordinances were amended after that.
Oh, they were?
Mhm.
Oh, I see.
The ordinances were amended.
So you changed them after people
Well,
already
they,
used them?
no, they're amended as they see a need for them. That's all I'm trying to explain.
I believe
how
it was
that
Matt
happened.
Morris that did that.
Yeah.
That's when he changed that.
So we cannot use hardy plank no more?
No, that's not what this is about.
Not on the front, you can't on the front,
On the front.
on the front.
So what were you gonna put on the front?
Hardy plank.
Hardy plank?
Yeah.
Or brick?
It is brick.
If you go into any subdivision in San Antonio, even the cheapest of subdivisions, they're brick, rock, or stucco on the front. And China Grove is not a cheap area.
It's hardy plank. It looks like wood, but it's not. It's masonry product. It won't burn.
But the way this was designed, it has the capability of the exterior being covered with masonry, brick.
You can paint it when you cover it.
Pardon?
You can paint it in color.
No, not really, it's action stone. If that was the only item that would prohibit the construction of a facility like this.
Councilman Lee.
I have another question here. I was looking at this picture too. And here we go again, we're still talking about a pre-manufactured home. But you were saying that your intent was to have a slab floor for this house? But on the picture at the bottom, it shows vents. What are these vents at the bottom for?
Oh, that's just the model that was placed.
So in other words, you wouldn't have these vents on here if this, you know, have you considered maybe this, to stay without having a variance, have you considered maybe building a home versus a manufactured home so you could stay in the city of China Grove? Because being manufactured, it really is, there's a question there, and then it would just make things a lot easier. We could try to get you, you know, I mean, or sub it out. You seem like an intelligent man that you could.
Oh, a number of considerations went into this. This is the, probably the change C really, because the structure that was going to put up completely conforms to all of the codes. But in the last year or two, circumstances changed, and this is my
Secondary.
also the plan. As far as that one shows that it has a skirt around it.
Mhm.
My facility is on the concrete pad.
So you won't have the steps going up and all the decking around the front then?
Oh, yes, it has a deck that completely encircles the structure. But,
But it won't have to go up like that.
But it won't be,
no, it
have the
it'll be
stairs?
only the concrete pad, there's no stairs.
Well, I guess if you could come back with better pictures as to exactly what you're talking about, we might be able to then get a better opinion as to what it looks like, because right now, this looks like it's more of a prefabbed home that has been brought in with a nice deck and skirting put around it to conceal the fact that it is a pre-manufactured home. So, I mean, I think the majority of the council is against this. Whereas if you are going to have it on a slab, if we could have a better picture of this is what it's going to look like, and see that it's going to look like a home and not like a manufactured mobile home, then maybe that would be a little bit easier for us to be able to get an idea of exactly what you're doing. Plus, if we could have it checked out that you are the owner of the property and have the right to request this in the first place.
Oh, that would be a problem.
You know,
It kind of scares me, Mr. Williams, because what you're asking for sounds like a beautiful place there. Of course, if you, being in the city of China Grove and only having, I don't know how much acreage you have there, but you have to have at least 3/4. I'm not sure what you have as far as how much land you own in that area. But I'm hesitant to even consider anything because unfortunately, this has nothing to do with your house, but I'm gonna bring it up because it does bother me that the fence that was constructed in front of that property was not a very appealing, eye-appealing fence. It was made out of pallets, and it scares me to say, let's let this gentleman do this, if that's what I see that's been erected up there now, I'm hesitant, and I can't support you on this, and I feel really bad about it. That's why I said maybe you might consider maybe going a smaller home, where you could have a brick home, a nicer home out there, and on a slab, or, have a nice brick front on every part of it.
As far as that fence is concerned, that's a work in progress, this is halfway complete.
No, unfortunately, I wish, been a little bit more appealing, and that kind of throws me for a loop there, so I'm sorry.
The thought behind that was that the town that spent it before Knox, I had an opportunity to look at manually the horse ranches also. And I'm always impressed with the fencing.
Definitely recycling. It's definitely recycling. Recycling, it's recycling. The fence is recycling. Never mind.
Only a portion of it.
Yeah, but, it's not uniform. I'm sorry, I can't support this.
The other part of section E is P zoning, ordinance 09.10 amendment not requiring 100% in front of the exterior to be stone, stucco, or brick, at 670 F Union, 4.5 acres. Mr. Aaron Williams. Is there a motion to grant variance on ARP?
I can't stick with the original ordinance that we have allowed through our neighborhoods through the city of China Grove.
Did you make a motion not to?
I make a motion that not to approve the variance simply because I feel we should stick with the ordinance that we have in the city of China Grove.
Both.
On both A and B, yes, sir.
A and B. Amendment 1, Amendment 11 the city secretary to check into that ordinance to see if it's still valid or invalid on manufactured housing with an attorney. Are there any motions?
I mean,
Made motion, second.
I'll say it.
Second, Kathy.
Who seconded it?
Kathy. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Did not grant the variance.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Next item on the agenda is consider an act on Christmas lights contact date for judging December 20th, 2014.
we need to consider doing it. I'll make a motion that we consider, an act upon our Christmas light contest as we had in the past.
The prizes or something. We have to have that. Susan?
What are the prizes? What are the,
I think they were 175 and
850, first, second, and third? Well, I make a motion that we continue the contest.
Okay, we have a motion. Item F on the Christmas lights contract for judging December 20th, 2014 with prizes of 100.
75.
75.
First, second, and third.
I'll second that motion.
Have a second from Kathy Briggs. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Item G, discuss council member non-compliance with open meeting act required training.
Has he complied?
Yes.
And when did he comply?
December 2nd.
Of this year?
Yes.
And how long has he been on our council? How many years?
6.
And this, he has never had it, he has never complied before?
Well, you only have to take it once, so.
And how did this get overlooked?
It may have been a lost certificate or whatever. You know, I don't know.
Okay, but he's in compliance at this time.
He's in compliance with this time according to TML, as long as he's in compliance right now, it's okay.
Oh, you called him now?
Yeah.
Good.
There's no fine if you don't want to do it.
Because you could call him and all that.
Yeah. Next item is the executive closed session. As authorized by Texas Government Code, Section 551.1074, personnel matters. A, municipal court presiding judge.